foam roll video today. So one of the classes that I teach at my Pilates studio, Club Pilates Braden River, is a foam rolling class. So basically, foam rolling is so good for so many different things of our body. Help release sore muscles, massage out all that tension. We're actually doing some lymphatic drainage when we foam roll. You know anything about the lymphatic system? Basically, it doesn't pump itself, so we kind of have to pump it. So one of the ways to do that is foam rolling. The other thing foam rolling is good for is detoxing our fascial tissue. So basically, when we're rolling it out, we are removing all of those toxins. And our fascial tissue is actually everything that holds together your muscles, your bones, your organs, everything. So it's this connective tissue that kind of connects everything. And we are so full of this fascial tissue that if you took out all of our organs, muscles, bones, everything, we actually would still stand up completely just based on all of that connective tissue. I think what happens some of the time is that people have foam rollers, but they don't really know what to do with them, or they only know a couple things to do with them, so they just never really use it. So I thought it would be helpful if I just kind of sat down and went through almost everything that we do when I teach a full 15-minute foam rolling class. So here today I just have a little trigger point foam roller. Any foam roller honestly will work, even if you have one of the big ones. That's one thing I wish I did have, is one of the big long foam rollers. We have those at the Pilates studio, and they're really good for getting into your back and your shoulders and everything. But we're gonna just do the small foam roller today. And then I also have a little trigger ball here. So it's the same company. I got both of these on Amazon. This was like 10 bucks and this was like 25. We are going to start with our feet actually. So standing right up. If you don't have a trigger ball, something that you can use is a tennis ball, or honestly just any type of ball that you have at your house will work. You're gonna step on it, and from here you're just gonna roll all the way to your heel and then all the way to your toes. So pushing as much pressure on it as feels comfortable for you. And please keep in mind that throughout this whole video, it's really important to listen to your body, and if something doesn't feel right, don't push it. Good, making sure that you're getting the inner arch and the outer arch. And then if you feel any tension, just hold your weight down on it and breathe. Dog hair all over me. Good, now popping it right over to the left foot. Whoop. Rolling all the way from your heel to your toes. So we're on our feet all day, every day. So a lot of our tension actually starts here. Good, now if there's a spot that feels nice and tight, just again sinking your weight down on it and breathing, maybe just rocking left, right. Good. Okay, so from there, just coming right down onto our bum. We're going to start with the foam roller, and we're gonna roll out the first section of our right calf, okay? So you're gonna go right above the Achilles tendon, which is that tendon right in the back of your ankle. You're gonna go right above it, and then we're basically just going to roll halfway up, so only to midway, and then back. So rolling forward, back. Good. Now when you look at your foam roller here, there's different sections. So you guys can keep rolling out. I'm just gonna kind of hold this up for a second. These sections here, these little squares are supposed to be some of these knuckles. The lines are supposed to be some of these fingers, and then the flat part is supposed to be a palm. So you can kind of determine how much pressure you want on each part that you roll out. Okay, so while you're rolling, I suggest turning your toes to the right and then rolling down, and then turning your toes to the left, and then rolling back up, and that's just gonna give you the entire range of the calf. Now if you find a spot that feels really tight, you're just gonna hold and just twist your toes left, right, and that's the movement that actually gets your knots out. So yeah, I'm sure you can feel it. I know I definitely feel it. Your calves are something that, I mean, for me, I never expect them to be tight, but every time I foam roll, I'm shook because they're so extremely tight. All right, so now we're gonna roll up to that top section. So turning the toes to the right, rolling down, and then rolling back up. Now you're rolling from the mid-calf to right before the back of the knee. Try not to actually roll the back of the knee, just right before it. And again, if you feel like there's a knot, just kind of hold your leg down and just sway left and right, left and right. Good. All right. So popping it right over to the left, we're going to do the same thing. So starting with the first section, right above the Achilles tendon to the mid-calf. Twisting the leg as you roll to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. And if you feel a really tight spot, just hold and sway left and right again. Ooh. Sometimes you get in there and you find those exact knots and it feels so good but so painful at the same time. All right, now rolling up to that top section. Also, when I teach this class at the Pilates studio, it's a full 15-minute foam rolling class. I'm obviously not going to do a full 15-minute YouTube video. Just keep in mind that I'm briefly touching on every single thing that we roll out in the class. So you can go back and kind of do the sections for a bit longer, or however you want to do it. All right. So now we're going back to the right calf. And this time, if you have your trigger ball or if you have a tennis ball or whatever type of ball you have, we're going to place it right on top of your foam roller. And then from here, you're going to hold onto your foam roller and just roll forward and back, forward and back. Another thing you can do is just keep that foam roller still and just sway your leg forward and back or left and right. And if this balance isn't really vibing with you, you can just kind of put it on the ground. You don't have to use the foam roller. It just helps get a bit deeper. All right, so you can do that for a bit longer if you need to. We're going to go over to the left now. Also, if you have a dog, be careful if you get a trigger ball, because it is my dog's favorite toy. He has thousands of toys all over, but I think he always goes for the trigger ball without fail. Has like little teeth marks in it. It's ridiculous. Okay. Good work. So now let's go over to our right leg again. And we're going to start with our hamstring. So our hamstrings are pretty tight usually. So you want to actually try to find that little knobby part where the little squares are, like somebody's knuckles. And we're going to start right above the back of the knee. You're going to lift your bum up, place your left foot on the floor, twist the toes to the right just a little bit, roll down, roll to the left, and roll back up. So to the right, down, to the left, back up. Now when you roll out to the right, make sure that you don't go all the way, because we actually don't want to roll out our IT band, which is right on the side of the leg. The IT band is as thin, actually thinner than a piece of paper. So rolling it out just really is not the best. I mean, people do it all the time, but I've just read a lot about it, and I just prefer not to, and advise my clients not to roll the IT band out either. Okay, now if you find a spot that feels really tight, just hold and sway left and right. Now, if this is bothering your arms, a really good option is if you went up against your couch and put your forearms on your couch, and then kind of popped your bum off the floor, and then rolled out, just so it's not as much pressure on your wrists and your shoulders if it's bothering you. And then rolling up to the top section. Ooh, so mid hamstring to right underneath your bum. Oh. And if you find that point that feels really tight, just hold and twist left and right. Okay. Holy moly, I felt that a lot. Okay, now going over to the left. First section of your hamstring. hamstring. So right above the back of the knee, and we're just rolling to the mid hamstring and back. Same thing. Hold where you feel that tension, just sway left and right, rolling up to your top section. So mid hamstring to right before your bum. And then just hold and twist left and right. Good. All right, now going back to the right, trigger ball time. So two options, you can either take your leg on top of both, or you can just do the trigger ball on the floor. So whatever option feels best for you. I just like this because it gets a little bit deeper. Okay, and then you're just gonna roll that foam roller forward and back. Whew. Another thing you can do is just hold, push your leg down into it, and then lengthen the leg, flex those toes, and then point the toes, relax it. Ooh. You can also hold that foam roller still, sway left and right. Getting into those tight hamstrings. Just again, making sure you're avoiding the side of the leg, your IT band. Now we're gonna go a little bit more on the inner thigh to the foam roller. So if you go right on the inner thigh a little bit, and then kind of turn back onto your bum. So it's a little bit inner, but then also still underneath the glutes. These are our attachment fibers. So they attach your hamstring muscles to your glute muscles, and they usually are pretty tight. So once you find them, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then you're just gonna twist the leg left and right. Okay, that is enough. Left side, trigger ball, underneath hamstring, just holding the foam roller still and swaying the leg. And then we're gonna point and flex. Woo. Okay, ditching the trigger ball, coming to the inner, underneath your bum, and kind of rolling on the inside a little bit. And feeling all those attachment fibers. Twisting left and right. Whew. All right, putting your foam roller to the side. This is something I like rolling out with just the trigger ball, which is our Tensor fascial Latae. So your Tensor fascial Latae, or TFL, basically connects to the IT band. So if you feel like you have a lot of tension running down the side of your leg, chances are it's actually initiating from this muscle. So since we can't roll out our IT band, we're gonna go right into the TFL. So we're gonna take that trigger ball. If you don't have one, you could just lay on the foam roller in the same way. I just prefer this because it's a smaller region, so I feel like that's a little bit too big. So you're just gonna kind of place it right on the side of your hip. If you feel where your hip bone is, it's below that. Always make sure when you're foam rolling that you're never rolling on a direct bone. Okay, so you're not placing this right on your pelvis. You're finding that squishy muscle underneath it. And then we're just gonna lay out on your side. Oh, and you should feel it. Oh my gosh. And just breathe. You really don't even need to move. It's just like a breathing thing. And be kind to yourself. If this really hurts, like it's really hurting me, so I'm gonna lay off a little bit and then exhale, go back onto it a bit. Oh my goodness. All right, now going to your left. This side's a bit tighter for me, so I don't know if, woo. Just breathe. It's pretty intense. go off to the side again. All right, so we're going to roll out your bum just a bit. So coming and gently sitting on your foam roller, you're gonna kind of just place your right butt cheek right on it, okay? And then you're gonna take your left leg over your right thigh, and then we're just gonna kind of roll over to the right a bit, and back. Now again, if this is too much on your arms, you can be using your couch behind you. Okay. And then you're gonna pause and just kind of sway the bum. Ooh, left, right, left, right. Switching over to your left bum. Right leg comes up onto the left leg. And then sway. Alright, so with the longer foam roller that we have at the studio, it is a bit nicer to roll out your back, but I still like doing it on these smaller foam rollers. So you're going to kind of place the foam roller towards your middle spine, so you want to avoid your lower back, okay? And then we're slowly just going to release yourself all the way onto it. Now I would scooch far enough down that your head can be on it as well, just to support the neck a bit. Okay, and then you're just going to reach your hands past your head, and then reach your arms back up over your head towards the floor. Oh my goodness. Another thing we can do is shrug your shoulders back together towards your spine, like you're squeezing them together, and then reach your shoulders apart. So squeeze, reach apart. Now if this feels like it's too much pressure on your back, please feel free to skip this section. The other foam rollers are a bit softer, so they're not as intense. Another thing I like to do is take your hands behind your head, squeeze your shoulders, and just rock left and right. Maybe even reaching your arms out and rocking left and right. At the same time, we're extending and opening our thoracic spine, which is really good for our posture. Ready? Slowly roll up. We're going to take this foam roller behind your lower back. Okay, you're going to have your feet on the floor, hands behind you, and we're basically going to lift your bum and tuck your pelvis up. So you're pressing your spine into it. So we don't want to be like this, basically. We want to be lifting your bum, tucking, and then we can really get into your lower back. Now, one thing I like to do, if this is an option for you, is take your hands behind your head. It's like an ab work at the same time. And then we're going to walk yourself up a little bit. So now massaging more like the middle section of your back. Just making sure you're not letting your bum hang down. You got to keep it lifted to protect the lower back. So if it's like this, that's really not staying in our alignment. Okay, now rolling up just a bit. Ooh, yeah. And a little bit further. Into your shoulders. If your hair is down, I would definitely hold it. Okay, and then up right into those traps, so those top of the shoulders that are usually pretty sore. Good. And then placing your bum down, and you're going to lay this right behind your head. Okay. So we're going to massage out these trigger points in the back of the skull here. They're called the Osa Vitalis. Okay, and if you think about it, our head is very heavy, so it's always putting pressure on these two trigger points. So tuck your chin to your chest, even though you get a little double chin. And then twist your head no. So shake your head to the right, and then to the left. Oh. And if you don't feel those trigger points, you may have to just reposition a little bit. It's more in the back of the head than the neck. Now look to the right and shake your head yes. Look to the left, shake your head yes. Shake Shake your head no one last time. Oof. Alright, now slowly coming up. A couple more things we're going to do here. You're going to lay your arm flat and just kind of place your armpit over the foam roller. This is another one I like doing with the longer foam rollers, but this will do. And we're just going to roll forward and back. Holy moly, forward and back. So this is called our axillary node. So it's part of our lymphatic system. This one's really, really important, not to mention it is a trigger point, so it feels insane. Woo! Oh, and then rolling all the way onto your belly, and you're just gonna slowly roll up and down. Sorry, not all the way on the belly, but just kind of twisting towards your chest and on the floor. Okay, and then roll back. And roll up and down a little bit. Okay. Switching. Other side. Just rolling up and down to start. Oh my gosh, and it's crazy how you can feel a difference from one to the other. So I just felt it way more on my left than my right, and I always find it so interesting because if you start to think about what else is different on that side, so for me, my hip isn't the same on my left, it's a little bit weaker. You know, my arm is definitely weaker on my left, so it's just interesting that you feel it more where everything else is weak as well. Okay, and then hold, and you're gonna twist forward, ooh, and back. Now I feel it. Lean forward and shift up, down. Lean back and shift up, down. Woo, woo. All right. Last thing we're gonna do on our foam roller today is roll out our quads. So you're gonna take whatever quad. I'm gonna do my left first since I'm on this side. And then I like bending my right knee into my chest. If this isn't comfy for you, you can also just kind of place it down on the floor regular, like in a tabletop or in a kneeling position. Okay, and then you're just gonna roll forward, pull, and back. And be careful because our quads are really tight. Now another thing you can do is roll and hold, and then bend your knee, oh my goodness, and then extend. But be careful because that's very intense. Then go to a different section, bend, extend. Okay, going over to the other side. Again, I felt it way more on my left. So just try to notice these things while you're foam rolling. It's very interesting to learn about your body. All right. Oh, sorry to talk during that one. That felt pretty intense. All right, so this is my favorite part. Grabbing your trigger ball or whatever ball you have, you're gonna come stand up against your wall, and you're gonna take the trigger ball and place it right behind your right trap, so that top of the shoulder, and then you're just gonna roll around wherever it feels good. So maybe dropping it down a bit further, so right between the shoulder blade and the spine. And then I suggest kind of walking your feet out a bit, so you can bend your knees and really get a little bit deeper. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Bobby. Come here. Oh my goodness. All right. Another thing you can do is roll out your low back. So if you have low back pain, you can take the trigger ball right behind your lower back, kind of round your spine forward, really push yourself into that trigger ball, and then just kind of roll wherever you feel like you need it. Again, just making sure that you're avoiding your spine and your shoulder blades and stuff like that. I'm going over to the left shoulder if that's where it feels good. Oof. Yeah, so this one's pretty self-explanatory. You can just play around with it. One thing I will say is it right next to the spine, we have these muscles. They're part of our rotation muscles. So they end up getting pretty tight. So maybe following right down the sides of your spine with the trigger ball, that'll feel pretty nice. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this foam rolling video with me. This was just a small section of stuff that we can do with this equipment. I'll probably be doing another one eventually, so please let me know what you guys thought, if this was helpful, if you enjoyed it, or any tips or suggestions, please let me know, leave them in the comments. If you want to check out my Instagram, summers_Pilates, it'll be in the description below. I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon, including one of these trigger ball foam rollers and an actual trigger ball. So definitely check that out if you're interested in kind of updating your foam roll equipment. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time and wanting to do this foam roll video with me. So definitely check out some of my other videos. I have workouts targeting every single muscle group, so anything that you're looking for, please feel free to check out. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.